Hi, you guys. Okay, so I am getting ready to do stage 2 of my infusing the honeysuckle. Now, I've had the air conditioner on in my room, so it's been a little bit more than 3 days with it, the honeysuckle in here, and this is what it still looks like. So now most of the white is starting to turn, so I figure it's time to change it out. And I picked more honeysuckle today. Although my brother-in-law cut down some of the honeysuckle vines, so I had to go find a different batch, and I'm just trying to avoid any kind of poison ivy. And you got to be careful of snakes and poison ivy when you get into honeysuckle vines, because both of those I was watching out for. So on to what I'm going to do. Now I've got a little sieve here and my oils in the honeysuckle, and I'm just going to drain it into here. And I'm going to help it along. Get my towel and kind of dry off the little edge a little bit. And so while that's draining just for a bit, I'm going to go ahead and put these honeysuckle into there, the fresh ones. And I found it much easier to gather it at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. time frame, where it was finally, the sun was setting, it was cooler, and some of the blossoms that were white were just starting to open for the next day. And so I actually had, well, if it weren't for my brother-in-law cutting down some of the honeysuckle vines, I would have gotten more white ones, but they were a little harder to find. So anyway, you do come run across bugs. Sometimes bugs are in these flowers, and that's why it is always good to run it through a sieve. And this smells so delicious. I mean, I don't like to eat honeysuckle. I did when I was a kid, pick the honeysuckle blossom and suck on it. That was just because all the other kids did. I love the smell. That's what's delicious about it. It's the smell. It's just it reminds me of spring. One of my favorite scents in springtime is a honeysuckle blooming. And I can tell when I'm around somewhere, even if I can't see it, and I smell it, I know it's there. So I'm getting this all ready. And this sieve that I have, I use just for the honeysuckle. I don't use it for the other parts of the soap. It's just to do this. Now I'm going to set this aside and bring this back over. And I've got this right here, and I'm going to start pressing. Just pressing because it's had a chance to sit. And I will put this in the recycle bin, trash, garden compost stuff. We don't really throw much out to the garden because there's not really, Mom don't have a garden. But I put this into where we keep the stuff that decomposes quickly. So basically I'm just kind of smashing this around and getting as much of the grapeseed oil out of there with the infused honey blossom pollen and stuff on now. Because now some of the honeysuckle pollen and scent is now starting to get in the grapeseed oil. I'm still working on my embeds. I've not had time. I got to sell some soaps at a yard sale, and learning some things about that. I'm not far along yet in my soap making business. I'm just barely been making soaps for just a little over a year now, so I am in the beginning stages there. So I need to keep better records. It's one thing I've learned. And it got me a table. So, yay me. I have a table now that I can take I still need another table. And I'm going to put this towel here to lay that on while I pour this grapeseed oil into this jar. And I'm not doing it where you guys can see it because I need to see it. But you can see this part of it. And now this grapeseed oil has a fresh set of flowers in it, and it can continue infusing. I do it 3 times to increase the strength of it. I know that the time of year when the honeysuckle blossoms is short and fleeting. And I'm just going to push this down like that to make sure it's all covered. Scrape it down. And I'm going to be a little bit finicky here and see if I can get any more oil out of this group of flowers from the last honeysuckle blossoms that now look all green, ready to go. Actually using my hands here now. Actually doing a better job of it now with my hands. I have a plastic thing that I gather the honeysuckle in. That's what I'll lay this on once I've squeezed out all the oil that squeezing missed. Invariably, you might need to do more grapeseed oil, more oil than you plan for doing it this many times, because you probably will lose some of your amount will go down at the same time as infused if you're not careful. Okay. That's a mess. That dark stuff, it's from the honeysuckle. That's the good smelling stuff. It will make your oil look darker. If you have colorants, it may make the colorants darker too. I did with the last soap. But it smells wonderful. Okay. Well, gonna say bye now.